In the forests of the United States, when the first light of morning spreads across the trees, the wilderness slowly awakens. Soft rays of sunlight filter through the tall branches, touching the leaves and the forest floor below. A gentle breeze moves through the trees, and with it comes the sound of countless birds greeting a new day. Among these voices lies one of the most colorful birds in North America, the painted bunting. The male painted bunting is a small bird, but its appearance is extraordinary. Its head shines in deep blue, its chest glows bright red, its back is covered in vibrant green feathers. When sunlight hits its body, the bird looks as if nature itself painted it with the brightest colors imaginable. But behind this beauty lies a remarkable story of survival, love, and family. Each year, as winter fades and spring begins, the life of the painted bunting enters its most important season. During the colder months, many of these birds live in warmer regions. But when spring arrives and temperatures begin to rise, they return to the forests and woodlands of the southern United States. The forests are changing too. Fresh green leaves appear on trees, flowers begin to bloom, and insects become more active. Food becomes easier to find. For the painted bunting, this means it is time to begin the breeding season. Male painted buntings arrive first. One by one, they claim small territories within the forest. A male bird often chooses a tall branch where he can clearly see the surrounding area. From this high perch, he begins to sing. His song is clear, bright, and surprisingly powerful for such a small bird. The purpose of this song is important. It tells other males that this territory is already taken. At the same time, it attracts female birds searching for a mate. Throughout the forest, several male painted buntings sing at the same time. Their songs echo between the trees as each one tries to prove that he is the strongest and healthiest partner. Sometimes two males come too close to each other. When this happens, they spread their wings, display their colorful feathers, and chase one another through the trees. These encounters rarely lead to serious fights. Usually, one bird retreats and searches for another area. Eventually, a female painted bunting enters the territory. Unlike the bright male, the female has softer colors. Her feathers are mostly green and olive. This coloring helps her stay hidden among leaves and branches, protecting her from predators. The male immediately begins his courtship display. He flutters between branches, sings more frequently, and shows off his brilliant colors in the sunlight. His goal is simple: to impress the female. If she accepts him, the two birds begin to spend more time together. A pair has now formed. The next step in their journey is finding a safe place to build a nest. Painted buntings usually choose thick bushes, dense shrubs, or the lower branches of small trees. These locations help hide the nest from predators such as snakes, raccoons, and larger birds. The female does most of the work building the nest. She carefully gathers dry grass, thin twigs, plant fibers, and sometimes even small pieces of bark. With patience and precision, she weaves these materials together to form a small, cup-shaped nest. The male often stays nearby, watching the surroundings and occasionally singing. After several days of work, the nest is finally complete. Soon the female lays her eggs. Usually there are 3 or 4 eggs in a clutch. They are small, pale in color, often with tiny brown spots. Now a quiet but important phase begins. The female spends most of her time sitting on the eggs, keeping them warm with the heat of her body. This process is called incubation. While she protects the eggs, the male becomes a guardian of the territory. He watches for danger and sometimes brings food to the female. Days pass slowly in the forest. Inside the eggs, tiny lives are developing. After about 12 to 14 days, something begins to change. One morning, Faint tapping sounds come from the nest. A tiny chick inside one of the eggs is breaking through the shell. Within a few hours, the first chick emerges into the world. Soon, the other eggs begin to hatch as well. The nest is now filled with tiny, fragile birds. At this stage, the chicks are almost helpless. Their eyes are closed and their bodies are covered with only soft down. Now the parents must work harder than ever. Both the male and female leave the nest repeatedly to search for food. They collect insects, small seeds, and soft plant material. Each time they return, the chicks lift their heads and open their tiny beaks wide, begging for food. From sunrise until sunset, the parents continue this exhausting routine. Day by day, the chicks grow stronger. Small feathers begin to appear on their bodies. Their eyes open, and they start to move around inside the nest. Soon the young birds begin testing their wings. They flap them awkwardly, building strength for the moment that will soon arrive. Their first flight. One day, a young chick climbs to the edge of the nest. It hesitates for a moment, looking out into the wide forest. Then suddenly it spreads its wings and jumps. For a brief second it falls through the air, but instinct takes over, and its wings begin to beat. The young bird is flying. Soon, the other chicks follow. Although they are still learning, they begin exploring nearby branches and trees. Their parents continue feeding and protecting them during this early stage. Weeks pass, and the young painted buntings grow more independent. By the end of summer, they are strong enough to survive on their own, but nature is always changing. As autumn approaches, the forests begin to cool. Leaves slowly change color, and insects become harder to find. For the painted bunting family, this signals the beginning of another journey. Migration. Lisa. These small birds will travel hundreds, sometimes thousands of kilometers to reach warmer regions where food remains available during winter. The family gathers with other buntings, preparing for the long flight ahead. Across rivers, forests, and open landscapes, they travel southward. Their journey is difficult, but it is essential for survival. And when winter finally passes and spring returns once again to the forests of America, the cycle begins again. A colorful male painted bunting will land on a branch. He will lift his head toward the rising sun. And once again, his beautiful song will echo through the forest. A new story of life is about to begin.